spent many, many years as the voice of the Sonics, and he watched the former Sonics, if you will, go out last night in that manner on behalf of the Blazers and Damian Lillard. He is Kevin Calabro. How are you, Kevin?
Good, Rich. Thanks for having me. What a game.
I mean, what do you think about when you hear that back? Just less than 12 hours, it seems.
Well, it just reminds me of the great joy that we derive from sports and why we follow sports and report on sports and why we participate in sports and activities of this such. And, to see 20,000 folks in this community rise and celebrate with Damian Lillard, who's adopted this town as his own, a guy from Oakland, California, who was not heavily recruited, went to Weber State, was drafted by the Blazers, and folks said who, and who has just achieved just greatness, I think, not only in the game of basketball, but certainly in just the way he has matured as an individual and the lives that he has touched in this community. I mean, there's just much more to Damian Lillard than that game winner last night. But, boy, just really happy for him because on his professional side, I think he's achieved now some true greatness, and I think he's realized his destiny, which is to lead his team now in the playoffs and get a little bit further.
And before we get to all that, I mean, walk me through your perspective. Were you right at that table where there was that pig pile afterwards? Where were you physically for that? Were you right there?
We were right across from all of that going on, and the guy that sat next to us was Yusuf Nurkic, and that's what people should remember is that their starting five-man, Yusuf Nurkic, of course, is not in this series because he broke his leg about a month ago, and he decided midway through the third quarter that his team needed him. He got dressed at his home in the suburbs, drove in and got there with about 5 minutes left and made a Willis Reed-like appearance on the bench, and it just seemed to ignite the basketball team. They were down 15 points in the fourth quarter, Rich. So Nurkic sat next to us and came over and sat next to us as all that was unfolding. He wanted to stay away from all of that activity, obviously, with a broken leg, but all of that was going on in front of us. It was magnificent. Damian was over there with his family. He was high-fiving the crowd. He was being mobbed by his teammates. It was something to behold.
Yeah, I mean, you would know this because was that his brother who ran out on the court? Was that his what members of his family?
His sister was there. His mom and dad were there. His granddad was there. I mean, the whole family there sitting front row. I mean, it was as if this was destined to be.
That was his whole family running up. Like he did it in front of generations of Lillards. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. They were all there. They were all there. It was, his agents there after the game, and his whole entourage there. It was fabulous. I just can't think of a better scenario for he and his family and this community.
And then just one more on the moment here. Kevin Calabro from the Blazers Network, Trailblazers television play-by-play announcer here on the Rich Eisen Show. So you're watching this unfold, and it's becoming apparent he's going to take the shot. I mean, it's becoming apparent he's not only going to take the shot, he's not going to drive the basket. He is going to shoot. I mean, what was that like from your perspective as you're real time trying to describe the action there, Kevin?
Well, we know that he's good from the logo. He's logo Lillard. They got that tag earlier this year, and he has already hit Oklahoma City with a 51-point effort back in March when he didn't shoot the three well, but he was something like 18 of 20 from the free throw line. This guy's one of the superior shooters in the league. I mean, he's 10th in the league in scoring. You could make a case that he could be the leading scorer in this league or top three if that's what he wanted to do. But you just knew he was going to take that final shot. It's a tie ball game. You've got an opportunity here. He's already risen up. He's 10 of 18 from 30 feet or better already in the series. We know that. We've seen him through the course of the year make these big shots from long range. He ends up 4 of 6 from 30 feet plus in Game 5. When he let it go, to me, there was no surprise. There was no shock. He had an open shot. And in my opinion, he's a lot like Steph Curry, James Harden in that regard. And you look at the numbers, and they bear that out this year from 28 feet or better. Those three guys are El Supremo. He clears midcourt, clears the timeline. He is within range because he has confidence, strength. And remember, he played 45 minutes in this game, and he scored 34 in the first half. He had to carry him in the first half when McCollum picked up his third foul just 9 minutes into his shift in the first quarter, and he led the Blazers with 45-plus minutes of play. This is a guy that averages close to 35 and a half minutes a ball game in the NBA, played 80 games this year. I mean, that just speaks to the strength of this kid, that he still had something left in the tank to just pull up and take that shot over one of the toughest defenders in the league, Paul George. It was just
Yeah, and Paul George saying it was a bad shot too, which Lillard Lillard retweeted a tweet with that quote with an LOL. I mean, he just Instagrammed out a Sun Tzu quote about biding your time, and the one who wins is usually the one who's quiet and holds his tongue. I mean, it really is a remarkable, for the lack of a better phrase, up yours. And cold dish serving in a series just for this moment, obviously. But with the Blazers' struggles over the last 2 years to win a single playoff game, and for him to do it in this manner against a team that used to come from the Pacific Northwest, and I want to get on a little bit on that with you, Kevin, for your history of calling Sonics games, and the history of you calling games as long as you have. I said the only thing you could equate this to, and it might even top, was Jordan's shot over Elo in '89 to wrap up that first-round series. I wonder what you think.
Well, it was certainly shocking, and the import of it is, obviously is felt here in the area because they had lost 10 consecutive playoff games coming into the series. They had lost 10 in a row on the road in playoff series, and so to shake all of that certainly was big, and unburden themselves of that in this series against the Thunder. I'm just thinking back at some of the spectacular efforts we've seen in the Pacific Northwest with the Sonics, and going from Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, Detlef Schrempf, Sam Perkins, that group in the mid '90s, and then later, just before their demise and the move out of town, remember Ray Allen had some phenomenal years with the Sonics. He was 5 years with the Sonics, and Payton, and I should say, Lillard in no way reminds me at all of Gary Payton. We'll ask for some comparisons. The way I look at Lillard is he's a lot like Tim Hardaway in his prime before the knee injury. The great handle, the crossover, the ability to shoot the three, the strength, the upper body strength, just his body. He's got the driving instincts of a Derrick Rose in his prime when he had an MVP year in 2010. When he get to the rim, just kind of defies gravity, hangs and contorts at the glass. He's so good at that, Lillard. He's just phenomenal at playing off contact and getting to the rim. And then the kind of the countenance, the elegance, if you will, of Ray Allen, and that radar ability to kind of sense the moment with the great poise and the countenance, and that, like you said, that serenity that he has on the floor. And the other thing about Lillard is he follows boxing. He loves boxing. I don't care what kind of obscure boxing match you're talking about. Lillard will know who's involved, what's at stake, who's good, who's bad in the ring. That's the other thing. He works out during the off season. He's a boxer in the off season. That's one of his top physical regimens in getting himself ready for the season, is to get in and spar and box and work on the speed bag and work on the footwork and the hands and the whole thing and the focus. And so he approaches the game like a boxer as well. I mean, it's really something to see him get ready for the game. He's one of those classic first guy in the gym, last guy to leave type guys. And so it's no wonder that he excels at this level. But to compare last night's performance to something I've seen in the past, I really can't. I mean, that was one of the single most greatest performances I have seen in professional basketball.
That's saying a lot, man. that is. I mean, it really was something to see and something to watch. So I guess last one for you, Kevin. Is there still some animus in the Pacific Northwest towards Oklahoma City, or is that just so long ago now that it's just water under the bridge? I'm wondering, to give voice to all that.
Well, I think that there is certainly in Seattle, and there's always the hope that NBA basketball will, return to Seattle. There are a number of basketball fans in Seattle that do come south here to Portland. It's about a 3-hour drive, about 150 miles. And a number of season ticket holders here in Portland are from Seattle. They'll come down and share a season ticket package as well. So there's certainly an element of green and gold that you see at every Blazer ball game mixed in with the red and black. So I think there have been a number of fans in Seattle that have embraced the Blazers as sort of as their NBA fix, if you will. And I still think there are some misgivings, certainly in Seattle, about the way that things went down. It's been 10 years now, going on 11, that the Sonics left. And, 41 years of history, a world championship, a number of Hall of Famers, including the great Jack Sikma just this past spring. Lenny Wilkins still lives in the area. Gary Payton, a Hall of Famer, still lives and works in Seattle, and we see Sean Kemp all the time there. Detlef Schrempf. I mean, there are any number of Sonics that still live in the area, so it is a little bit bittersweet, I guess. When you see Oklahoma City playing there, but they have their own identity now, and what's transpired is transpired, and there's nothing you can do about that now. And hopefully the NBA will come back to Seattle at some point.
Well, great call, Kevin. It really was. That's why I wanted to pick up the phone and just chat with you, and because I felt it. I felt it obviously through your voice and just through the screen, and just seeing the folks in the crowd go absolutely nuts to see a 37-footer over the guy who dunked with no time left against them to cap the revenge with a 50-point night with no time left. I mean, you just really can't script it. It was amazing. It was just amazing.
It was surely a pleasure to be a part of. I really feel blessed to be able to sit there and observe and report for the fans. It was terrific.
Kevin, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. We'll chat down the line.
Thanks, Rich. Talk to you, man.
You got it. Kevin Calabro.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.